Okay, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Jacob. In my previous video, I discussed everything you need to know about tuple in Python. In this video, I will be showing you everything you need to know about dictionary in Python, the methods and how to manipulate data in dictionary. So what is dictionary? So dictionary are used to store data values in key value pairs. Okay, what this means is that there are two linked values where the key is a unique identifier. Use the key to find our data and our value is that data. Okay, so think of it like an address book where you have an address book and you have a contact name, their address, and then their phone numbers. You are having a contact of people with name, address, email, and other details you want about them. Okay, so let's look at how it works in coding. So how do we now create a dictionary? So to create a dictionary, you need a variable. So I'll call this variable contact. Let's call it contact. So if we call it contact, and then we have our curly braces. So inside this curly braces is where we are going to declare the data that we need. So we need a name. So here the name becomes our key. Okay, so we can call it name. Okay, so is the key that we'll use to reach out to other data. So what is the name? So we can say John. Okay, then another information can be email. Okay, so we can say email. Okay, email address or just email, and then we can provide the email john at gmail.com at gmail.com. Okay, then we can also have what other city. Okay, let's say we have a city. Okay, so we can say city and then we call LA. Okay, Los Angeles. All right, so we can call it LA. Okay, so this is how to create a dictionary. So you have your key and you have your value, you have your key and you have your value, you have your key and you have your value. Print this out. For example, we can print contact. If we print contact, okay, it's going to return to us everything we have here. So here you are seeing that we have name John, email John at Gmail, city LA, and then we can also decide that okay, we want to get a particular value, like we want to get an item, a single value. So what we do, we have a square bracket. So you can see what is showing us here. So there is city, there is email, there is name. So these are the keys here. Okay, so we can use the key, which is the city, to get to the city, to know the contact, the city where John lives. We can also use the email, okay, to get the email of John. Okay, so when we print this, it's going to give us John's email. Okay, so this is how a dictionary works in Python. Now, one thing you must know about dictionary item is that dictionary item can be ordered. Each of these keys cannot be duplicated. So I can come here and say I'm still having another name, okay, like this, and then okay, let me print. So when I print this, I'm only going to get one. I'm not going to get the two of them. So if I print name, for example, if I print name, okay, and I run, so it's going to print only John. Okay, but you can see that we have two values here. Even if I change this to another, let me say Hannah. Okay, if I change this to Hannah and I run, okay, it's going to return Hannah. Okay, why? This is not returning John. A key cannot be duplicated in dictionary. Alright, so this is how Python dictionary works. Now let's continue to look at how is dictionary structured. Now what you are seeing here is a descriptive kind of dictionary where it explains what it's doing. You have the name, okay, so I can remove this duplicated key here. Okay, so you can see the name, the email and the city. Okay, but what if in a situation where you are having multiple or the one that we usually call nested dictionary in Python. Okay, so we can say something like this. Let's create a variable that is going to be for nested dictionary. Okay, so we can do something like this: my underscore contact. Okay, my underscore contact, and then we can assign it our curly braces, and inside this curly braces, the first thing we will need is the key. Okay, so we have the key here. Okay, we'll call use John, so let's use the Hannah, for example. Okay, let's use Hannah here. Then here we can now have our values. Okay, so Hannah becomes the key, and what we are going to provide here becomes the values. So Hannah has phone number, email, so we can say name. Okay, we can give a name. Okay, so let's say Hannah. Okay, I'll call it Hannah. Then we can also call phone number, so we'll call it phone. Sorry, we can call it phone. Now passing the phone 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 0. Okay, then we can also pass in email. All right, so this is how a dictionary, a nested dictionary works. So where you have the key, so if I bring this down, okay, and I bring this down, so if I want to have another one, I will need to have a comma here. Okay, if not, I'm going to have an error. So I'll do something like this. So here, let's say we are having Bob as another Bob. So you can say, okay, then we can have curly braces, and here we can pass in the name. Okay, name, call it Bob. Bob. Then we can also have the phone, so phone. All right, okay, so let's just have this here. Okay, so this is how a nested dictionary works in Python. So you can see this one is the structure to be descriptive, it's single. Okay, so you can have another variable that carry the same thing. Okay, but instead of just having a single variable and then repeating them one after the other, you can just bring them in like this, where you have their name as the key and then you have their values. So if we want to access this my contact, for example, what do? We can do something like this. Okay, we can say print. Okay, inside here we now provide our variable, so my contact, and then a square bracket. So you can see the key. Okay, the index is the key, so you can see it now Bob. So if we want to access Bob, for example, and we print Bob, okay, so we are going to get all the value that concerns Bob. Okay, and if we want to get any particular value from Bob, we can just specify we want the phone, so we can provide phone here, and then when we run it, okay, so you can see the phone number and then you can see John. So this is how Python dictionary, okay, and this is how you can access items. This is how a nested dictionary is structured in Python. All right, now how do we change values? Okay, in a situation where we may have written a wrong phone number and we want to change that phone number, how do we do it? Okay, so for us to change a phone number, do that by a square bracket. So the first thing is to have the variable. So in this case, I'm going to use my contact. Okay, so I'll call it my contact, and then I'm going to provide a square bracket. I need the key every time I want to make update, get, or I need the key, because the key is a unique identifier. So once I get the key, I can now provide which one do I want to change here. Okay, let's say we are changing the email. Okay, Bob cannot be bearing Hannah, so we can now change the email. So okay, email to bob@gmail.com. So we say bob@gmail.com. Okay, so when we do this, okay, and then we print my contact. When we print my contact, okay, we should be able to see. So let's do, so you can see that we are getting the phone number, and then Bob has been updated, okay, as the Gmail. This is print coming from. Oh, okay. So let me wrap this. Let me create a variable here. So I'll call it. Let me call it Bob contact. So I'll say Bob. Okay, Bob underscore contact. Okay, so I can now use Bob to print everything, so that I don't print the entire dictionary. So when I run this, okay, you can see that I've now have a Bob email. Okay, so Bob has been changed from hannah@gmail.com to bob@gmail.com. So this is how to make update to a dictionary, a single dictionary here. If we want to change it, we can call it, because now we are doing this because it's a nested dictionary. We will need to do something like this. Okay, so we need to do something like this, the key, okay, and then we need to get to the value. So we need the key and the value pair, so that we'll be able to make updates or get the value. Okay, so in the case of this contact here, if we want to make update, all we need to do is just do something like this. Okay, so I can come here and do contact. I can do, let's call it Bob. No, not Bob again. Let's call it our contact. Okay, our underscore contact, and then we say equal to. So under the equal to, and inside the equal to, then we can now declare that we want to make update to the name, or want to even add age. Okay, so we can add we want to add a key and a value. So let's say contact, so we'll call the variable contact. Okay, contact. Okay, then in the contact we specify what we are bringing in. So you can see that there is city, there is email, there is name, but this time we want to add the age. So we say age, okay, and then we now specify the age. So if you say 25, for example, okay, oh sorry, it's a number, not a string, so we say 25, okay, and then when we print our contact, we'll change this to our contact. Okay, our contact, and then we run again. Okay, so you can see that we are now having 25. Let's print the entire dictionary. So we print contact. Let's print contact. Okay, so when we print contact, you can see that we now have name, we have email, we have city, and then we have age. So this is how to update a dictionary in Python. So you can create the key, use a square bracket, provide the key name and the value. Okay, because dictionary goes with key and value, you must provide the key and the value. Okay, and then a value that is existing before cannot be created. So I can come here and say that I want to create another age. So if I bring it down here, okay, before the print, okay, let me repeat it. So if I have something like this and then I want to create it again, okay, when I run it, so it will show me the latest update, okay, not the previous one. Okay, it will show me the latest update because it does not allow duplicate. Okay, dictionary does not allow duplicate, and because of that, it will not show me the previous update, it will show me the new update, and that is what it will capture as the key and the value. Okay, so let's move further now. Imagine we want to know the length of our dictionary. What do we do? Okay, if you watch my previous video, I talk about how to use some of this method. So we use the len method. So we can say len, so I can do length, which should be equal to len, and then we'll now pass in our variable. So in this case, we'll now pass in my contact. Let's pass in my contact, and then when we print, okay, so you can showing us two. Why? Because we just have two value there. Okay, we just have two key value pairs here. Okay, Hannah and Bob. Okay, but the same thing if we have this. If we provide contact, for example, if we provide contact here in our variable, okay, we provide contact here, okay, and then we run it again, it's going to tell us 4. Why? Because we have 4 keys here. So we have the name, we have the email, we have the city. Okay, let's repeat this and see what happened, and let's print the length. So when we do something like this, and then we do comma and provide the city again, and this time around we are changing it to Lagos, Nigeria. So let's change it to Lagos, and then we run it again. Okay, it's going to still tell us 4. Why? Because Python does not allow duplicate. It doesn't recognize duplicate. So this is how Python, we can use the len method to know the length of our dictionary. Okay, now I said earlier that dictionary takes different data type. Okay, so because dictionary takes different data type, we can pass in different data types. Okay, so like here, okay, I can create a variable. Let's create a new variable and call it student. Okay, let's create a new variable and call it student. So we have which should be equal to name, okay, sorry, a curly braces, and then we have a name, okay, and then we call it let's call it Joy. Okay, we'll call it Joy. Okay, then we also have age. So this is a string data type. Okay, the Joy is a string, then the age is an integer, so we can say age. Okay, age, okay, and then provide 19. Okay, then we can also provide graduate, so we can say is graduate. Okay, so we can say true. So this becomes a boolean. Okay, what other data type? Let's say account balance, so we can say account balance, account underscore balance. Okay, account balance. Then we can now provide a float here, so 450,000 or 450 naira point 0.09. Okay, a dictionary in Python can take different data types. Okay, from string, okay, from string to integer to a boolean to a float. Okay, so dictionary takes different data types. Now you have to also know at this point that dictionary is also, everything about Python is class. Everything about Python is class, and because they are classes, everything is treated as an object. So dictionary is also an object, a list is also treated as an object, and because they are objects, they use different methods. They use different methods for you to be able to access them. So if we want to know the type of data we are dealing with, we can use the data type. Okay, the data type method. So if we close this, for example, okay, if we want to know the data type here, okay, we can say let's say print. Once we are printing, then we can provide the type, okay, and then pass in our student variable. Okay, so when we pass in our student variable and we print, it should be able to tell us the kind of data that we are dealing with. So it's a class of dictionary. Okay, it's telling us it's a class. Okay, the next is dictionary constructor. Now dictionary constructor allow us to create a dictionary. Now because dictionary has to do with keys and value, we will need to provide a key and a value. So we can do something like this: our underscore dictionary, then I will now say this, and then so what you are seeing here is a dictionary constructor, and inside this bracket we can now provide our value. So we can say name. Okay, so remember key and value, so we can just say name equal to, then we say John. Okay, then we say phone, let's say phone, okay, equal to, then we say 1 2 3 4 5, okay. Then we say what else do we need? Let's add email, so we say email equal to john@gmail.com, okay, john@yahoomail.com, okay. Let's call it at Yahoo Mail. Is that how Yahoo Mail is? Anyway, whatever. So yahoomail.com. All right. So this is how a dictionary constructor is. So what we are trying to do is we want to create a dictionary that have these keys and values. Okay, here. Okay, and for us to do it without necessarily creating a dictionary, we can do something like this using the dictionary constructor. So when we print this out, when we print our dicts, so when we print our dict, okay, we should be able to have, so we'll do Python and the name of our class, our file, so we'll give class.py. Okay, so you can see we now have a dictionary. Okay, so this is how to create a dictionary using dictionary constructor. Remember, we can also use this as a variable. Okay, we can say we can have a variable, let's say x, then we can have something like this, and when we pass in x here and we print, we still get the same answer. Okay, so, and this is it. All right, so this is how to access an item in dictionary. Now we can also use the get method to get an item. So we can use the .get method like this. So let's comment this out and we can do something like this, our .get. Okay, so this, all what you are seeing here are some of the method that you can use with dictionary. .clear, .copy, from keys to .get, .item, .keys, .pop, .update, .value. So I will be showing you how to use each of this method as we go. So let's go with the .get. So the .get allow us to get an item. Okay, so in here we now pass in what we want. Okay, so we can pass in name, okay, which will return the name for us. So when we run Python, let's print, so let's give it a variable. Let's call our variable x. Okay, let's call our variable x equal to, and then let's print x. So when we print x, so we are getting John. So this is how to use the method get. Okay, with the method get, we are able to get the key. Okay, in this case we don't need to use the square bracket. Okay, so then we can also use the method, okay, which will return a list of all the keys in our dictionary. Okay, so for us to get each of these keys in our dictionary, we can do something like this. We can do x. Okay, Python allow us to repeat variables, so we can just do something like this, our dot keys. Okay, so what this does is that it returns all the keys in our dictionary for us. So when we print x, when we run our Python, so you can see all the keys that we have here. So name, phone number, and then email. Okay, so these are the keys that we have in our dictionary. So you can see how it comes with dictionary keys, with the name, with the phone number, with the email. Okay, so this is how to use the .get method and the .key method. Method returns to us our values. Okay, instead of using square bracket, we can use the .get method. Then the .key method returns to us a list of all the keys that we have in our dictionary. Okay, now you have to know that any change we make to the dictionary will be reflected in the keys. So take for example, if we update the key, for example, okay, if we update the key, for example, so let me do it here. So if we do something like this, okay, let's do our dicts. Okay, then I'll now add a new key. So let's say country. Okay, I'll do country, which is in the name of the country. Let's say Namibia. Okay, so when we create a new one like this, and then when we print dicts, okay, when we print our dicts, oh yeah, let me use x again. All right, so when we print x, okay, when we print x bar, all right, so when we run our code, so you can see that we now have Namibia to do this. Okay, so if we now bring this down, okay, we now bring the dot keys down, and then we do something like this, okay, and then we run again. Okay, so you can see that the first one, you can see, but the new update we made has already been updated. Okay, so any change we made to the dictionary will be reflected in the key list. Okay, so this is how it happens dictionary. So any update is automatically updated in the keys. Okay. All right, so we can also get values. Okay, the value method will return a list of all the values in the dictionary. Okay, so we can do something like this. We can call, okay, let me comment this out. Yeah, let me comment this out so that we can be on the same page. Okay, so we can do something like this where we say, let's say x again equal to, then our dict, then I can now do dot values. Okay, so this method returns to us a list of all the values in the dictionary. So we can have the keys and the value. So when we print x, let's print x. Okay, so these are the dictionary values. So you can see it, all the values that we have in our list. So if I also comment this out so that we can see the keys and value. Okay, let me comment this out also. So when we now run our, okay, so here we have the keys and then we have the values. Okay, so this is how Python dictionary keys and value work. So the dot key method returns to us all the key we have in our dictionary. The dot value method returns to us all the values we have in our dictionary. Okay, so this is how the keys and value method works. Okay, now if we want to get item, okay, the dot get item method. Okay, so the dot get item method works in such a way that it returns all the items. Okay, it returns item in a dictionary as tuple. It will return each item in a dictionary as tuple in a list. Okay, so what I'm basically saying is that the dot get items method will return each item in a dictionary, okay, as tuple in a list. So for example, we can have x equal to, okay, okay, let me use our, then we can do can call the dot items there. So the dot items, okay, the dot items method, when we print x, okay, when we print x, okay, when we print x, so you can see that the item, see what is bringing for us. So he's returning to us our item in a dictionary as a tuple. So each of these is now a tuple. Okay, so you have the name, you have John, you have phone number, you have the number, you have email here, and this is how the dictionary items comes. So the dot items comes return a dictionary, okay, as tuple in a list. Okay, so each of these are tuples and they are in a list. You can see the square bracket, so which signifies that they are in a list. And then we have the tuple which contain the items, okay, that we have in our dictionary. So the dot items method return a dictionary as tuple in a list. Okay, so this is how the dictionary dot items method works. Okay. Now if we make changes in the original dictionary and the item list will be updated. Okay, so if we make changes, for example, let's update our dictionary. So if we now do something like this, we'll now update it. Let's add a name. Okay, we already have a name, city. Let's add a city. Okay, let's add a city. So I'll add a city, and then I'll call the city Lagos. Okay, Namibia, Lagos. Okay, that's fine, don't ask me. Okay, so we can have Lagos here. Okay, so when we now print our X, okay, hold them. Okay, when we now print our X, you can see that you will see the update. Okay, so you can see the update that is already there. Lagos has already been updated in our item. See city, and then you can see Lagos. So any update we make, any update we made in the original dictionary and the item list will be updated. Okay, so dictionary does not joke when you update. Okay, so but one key thing is the key must not be duplicated. If the key is duplicated, the later update is what it pick as the new value and not the former. Okay, all right, so this is how item work in Python. Okay, in dictionary. All right, now what if we want to check if a key exists? Okay, so if we want to check if a key exists, we can use the if statement. So we can do if, okay, our key name. So let's say we want to check if city exists, for example. So we can say city, then in our variable, okay, our variable is our dictionary. Then we can now do something like this, colon, and then we can now print. Okay, let's say if it is exists, tell us yes. Okay, let it be a string, so yes. And if it doesn't exist, else can print no. Okay, can print no. All right, so when we now run this, okay, so you can see that it's telling us yes. Okay, let me change this to capital C. If you still see that, okay, it's telling us no because capital C is not the same with small c. Okay, so this is how we can use the if statement to check if an item exists, if a key exists in dictionary. Okay, so you have your if statement, if keyword that tell Python that what you're about to do is you are creating an if statement. Then you have followed by your key. Okay, you have your key in double quotes, then the name of your variable. Okay, then you have your conditions. Okay, and this time we want to see that you should tell us that the key exists, and if the key does not exist, you should tell us no. Okay, so this is how to use the if statement to check if a key exists in a dictionary. Okay, then we can also change a value of a specific item by referring to its key name. Okay, so if we want to change a specific key item, for example, let's say we want to change the name. Okay, the name key. Okay, what do? We can now say our dix. Okay, then square bracket, then we provide the key that we want to change. Let's say city, for example. Okay, city. Okay, if we say city and we say James and we run it, what happens? Okay, so you can see name John, so city, and then we have James. Okay, so this is how to change the value by referring to its key. Okay, and then changing it specifically. All right, now let's move further. Okay, so how do we now create a method, how to use the dot update method in dictionary? So the dot update method allow us to update our dictionary. So when we have a variable like this, let's say x equal to, and then we now have our value, so our dictionary, then we call the dot update, and then the dot update method takes in an argument. So in this case we can pass in a curly braces, then we provide the key and the value. So in this case we are providing the year, okay, and the value is 2024. Okay, so in this case we have created an update. Okay, so when we print x, okay, when we print x, we are going to get, a non-value. Okay, so the reason we are getting a non-value is because dictionary method on itself returns none. Okay, but when we print our dictionary, if we print our dictionary, okay, we print our dictionary, so our dictionary, we already have the update like this. So you can see that we now have the year inside our dictionary. Okay, but the update method will always return none. Okay, so this is how to update, to use the dot update method to update our dictionary. Okay, then the next one is, how do we remove a value? If we want to remove a value from a dictionary, for example, what do we do? Okay, so let's remove a dictionary. We can use the dot pop method. Okay, so how do we use the dot pop? So let's remove city and James. Okay, there's nothing like that in anywhere in the world. All right, so let's remove that. So we can remove city and James. So how do we do that? We can come here and create and have our variable. So in this case I'll still use x, then our text, then dot pop. Okay, so the dot pop, then the dot pop takes an argument. Okay, and the argument is the key. So in this case we are now saying you should remove city. Okay, so when we provide city and then we print x, okay, we print x, okay, when we print x like this, okay, it returns James. Okay, but let us now print our dictionary. So print our dictionary, okay, and then we run it again. So you can see city names, city is no longer there in the dictionary. Why? Because we have removed it. So everything, since we use the dot pop method and we provide a key, both the key and the value are already deleted, are already removed from our dictionary. So this is how to use the dot pop method to remove an item from the dictionary. Okay, so we can also use the pop item method. Okay, so we can use the pop item method where we do something like this. Okay, we can still use x as our variable, and then we have this, then we say pop item. Okay, so we say pop and then item. So inside the pop item does not take an argument. Okay, so you can leave it like this, and then when we print our x, okay, we print x, okay, and then we print our dictionary. Okay, print our dictionary, okay, then when we run it, okay, so you can see that the name, the John and all. Okay, so this is how it is done in Python. So you can see that the dot pop item, what it does is that it removes the last inserted item. Okay, so the last item, so here you can see that country Namibia is no longer there in the new list that we just print out. Okay, so this is the what was removed. Okay, so you can see what was removed was printed out for us and it's no longer there in our dictionary. Okay, so this is how the dot pop item works. The pop item remove the last item in the dictionary. Okay, the last inserted item from the dictionary. Okay, now let's move further. So the delete keyword, what it does is just what it does. Okay, so it deletes. So if we provide a key for it, okay, create a delete keyword and then we provide a key, okay, and we run our code here, okay, you can see that the name city is no longer here again. Okay, the same way if we provide country, okay, if we provide country, okay, and then we run our code, okay, so you can see that the country is no longer there in our dictionary. So the delete keyword can delete a key and its value when we provide a key. Okay, then let's move further. We can also delete an entire dictionary, okay, by this. Okay, so when we run this code, okay, it will tell us that there is no, our name dictionary is not defined. Why? Because it's no longer existing. Okay, so this is how the delete keyword does, okay, with the keyword there. Okay, so it deletes whatever we have, whatever we have specified, either the key or the dictionary name itself. All right, so we can also use the .clear method, which empty the dictionary. Okay, so we can do something like this. Let's comment this out. Okay, so we can use our dict.clear, okay, and then we'll pass in here, and then we run our code, so it will clear the entire. So you can see that we have an empty dictionary, okay, an empty dictionary. Why? Because we have cleared the entire item, okay, the entire data in our dictionary. So this is how we can clear dictionary. We can clear the values or data we have in the dictionary using the .clear method. Okay, now the next one is to look through a dictionary. How do we look through dictionary? We can look through dictionary by using a for loop. Okay, so let's comment this out. Okay, sorry, let's comment this out. Okay, so how do we look through? So we can use the for loop and say for, okay, x, which is be our variable, and then for x in our variable, so in this case our text, then colon, and then we now print our x. Okay, so when we print x and then we run the code, so you can see that it's giving us all the value in the dictionary. I mean all the keys, so the name, the phone number, the email, the country, and the city. Okay, so this will return to us all the keys in our dictionary. Okay, so this is how it happens. So for if we want to get all the keys, okay, all the key names in the dictionary one by one, we can use the for loop like this. For x in our dictionary, then it should print of the each of the key in the dictionary one after the other. Okay, so this is how we can do it. Then we can also print all the value in the dictionary by using the dot. We can also use the, so we can also print all the value in the dictionary, okay, like this. For x in in our dictionary, then colon. So what do? We now specify what we want. So here you can see print, okay, then inside here we now specify that we want our contact. Inside here we now specify that we want our dictionary, and then specify the key that we want. Okay, so like this. Now do something like this. So we say our dict, a square bracket, and inside that square bracket we can now provide our variable, which is x in this case. So when we now run our code like this, so you can see that it's giving us all the values there. Okay, so this is how to get all the values in a dictionary using for loop. Okay, the name, the phone number, the email, the country, the city, and then followed by the value, so the keys and the values. Okay, so to print all the values in the dictionary. Okay, now we can also do something like this where we can use the dot value method to return all the value of a dictionary. Okay, so instead of using something like this, you can use the dot value. So here we can say dot and then call the value method. Okay, so when we call the value method and provide this like this, and then we decide to print x. Okay, in this case we are printing our x. Okay, and then when we run it, okay, so you can see, wait, I think I need to comment this out, so let me be sure of what I'm seeing. All right, let's run it again. Okay, so you can see that we are getting all the values. Okay, we are getting all the values. So let me do something again. Let's just, okay, all right, so we comment this out. Okay, so when we run it again, okay, so you can see that it's returning all the value for us. So there are two ways we can get the values. So we can use the for loop, and then we provide our variable, and then our dictionary variable and our for loop variable in a square bracket to print all the value. Or we can use the dot value method, okay, dot value method, to print all the values. So in this case we can just have something like this, x here. Okay, and when we run our code, okay, like this, so we are able to get all the values in our dictionary. So this is how to use the dot value method to get all the values in a dictionary. Then we can also use the key method to return all the keys. Okay, we can loop through to get all the keys, so we can use the dot key method. So here we can say dot keys. Okay, so which return all the keys for us. So when we run it like this, it return all the key: name, phone, email, country, city. Okay, so this is how we can also get the keys in our dictionary. Then we can also look through both keys and key and value by using the item method. Okay, we can combine the item method to get the key and the value pair. So where we have x, then we say comma y. Okay, comma y. Okay, for x comma y in dictionary dot items. Okay, dot items. Okay, like this. Okay, so when we do this and then we print our x and y, okay, we should be able to get the keys and the value. Okay, so let's run it, and here we have it. So John, you have John here. We have phone, you have phone here. We have email, and you have John email here. And we have country, we have Namibia, city, and then we have James. So this is how to get the key and the value in a dictionary using the dot items method. Okay, then how do we copy? Okay, you cannot copy a dictionary simply by accessing something like this. Okay, you cannot just copy a dictionary by doing, let's say dix1. Okay, let's get dictionary 1 equal to our dictionary. You cannot just copy a dictionary like this. Okay, so what this means is that the dictionary 1 here, okay, the dictionary 1 here will only be a reference to our dictionary. Okay, and any change made in our dictionary, okay, will automatically also be made in dictionary 1. So any change we made to this will be reflected to this. So that is not how we copy. Okay, so you can use the dot copy to specify that any change we make to our dictionary, it doesn't affect what dictionary 1 has. Okay, so in such a situation we can have our dictionary then dot copy. Okay, when we use the dot copy like this, okay, what we are saying is that we have been able, okay, so let me move it here so I can take it here. Okay, so what we are saying is dictionary 1 now has a copy of whatever we have in our dictionary. So whatever update we do to our dictionary, it doesn't affect what we have in dictionary 1. So this is how to do a copy in dictionary. Okay, so another way is to use a dictionary function. Okay, you can use dictionary function to copy. So something like this, let's say y as our variable equal to, then we can now say because, okay, let's call this dictionary 2. So just for clarity's sake, so do dictionary 2 equal to, then we can now do dict. Okay, dict, and then we can now pass in the variable we want to copy. So in this case is our dictionary. Okay, so when we do like this, what we are trying to say is dictionary 2 will now have a copy of our dictionary, and any update we made to our dictionary does not affect what we have in our dictionary 2. Okay, but in a situation where you are creating a copy that you want to use it as a reference, you don't use the dot copy and you don't use the dictionary copy method. Okay, so this is how it works. So this is how to copy dictionary in Python. If you like this video and you find value in this